Registration for the spring semester is now open and classes are filling up fast at Itawamba Community College. Named the #1 community college in the state for the second straight year by Wallet Hub, ICC offers 5 different class options with locations in Fulton, Tupelo, and Belden that will help save you time and money while preparing you for the future. Email one of our friendly advisors at eadvisor@iccms.edu or call 862-8000 to sign up for classes today. Itawamba Community College. The best start here.
And welcome back now as we continue to focus on our registration that's coming up all through December and into January. And we're talking to Miss Mande Miller. And Mandy, first off, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, yes, you're welcome. I'm glad to join y'all.
I would say feel free to take off the mask. We do have our 6 foot between us here. But, okay, so registration. Talk about just some general information people need to know when it comes to getting ready to register for school at ICC.
Okay, well, getting ready to register for ICC is really easy. Of course, we'll be back from the holidays on January the 4th, but you go online to iccms.edu. At the top right-hand corner, click apply, and you make your application, and that's from there we can go and help you and get you registered for classes.
Is there any certain things that people need to know ahead of time, say like, I don't know, social security number, anything like that? It's been so long since I registered for school. I remember back in the day we had to have this, and this, but it's far more advanced than that now.
Well, now they'll have to do, once they do the application, they will have to have access to an email address for the application because it sends you an email to confirm your account, and then that will help that process. They do have to have their social when they do apply, but once they make that application and get that in, then it's on us and getting them in here to get them registered for classes. So we try to make it as simple as possible for the students, but if they'll go ahead and get that application taken care of, so that when we open up on January the 4th, we can start the registration process.
Okay. And now, what can they expect in that email? Or I guess we can almost do it step by step. They registered, now waiting for that email. What would be the next thing for them?
Okay, so they'll get an email back from our admissions office telling them what we need them to do next. For instance, they'll have to make their My Tribe account. They would need to, if they've been to another institution, they would need to get that college's transcript sent or their high school transcript. So it gives them a detailed email telling them step by step exactly what to do.
So it's a really ideal situation. It's one of those where you almost you have to try to mess it up, I guess you can say, because you do go into extreme detail like that to help make that process easier, because it is an anxious process.
Yes, it is an anxious process. And then too, when they go to register for classes, they either will need to come to campus to get registered for classes, or they would need to email our e-advisor, is how they do it. We do ask that all students come through an advisor to get registered for classes rather than do it on their own.
Right. And how would they, I guess, they get assigned an advisor, or do we have just a group that kind of helps out that way?
We just have a group that helps out that way. Our e-advisor email goes to 4 or 5 of us, and so one of us contacts them back. We'll ask them in the email if they would rather come into campus and make an appointment, or if they want to just do it through email or over phone.
And I think that's really important right now, because a lot of people are worried about getting out, especially during the holiday season. ICC is going the extra mile to make it where, hey, if you're not comfortable coming to see us, we still want to provide you every opportunity you can get, whether it comes to register for classes, go into classes. So that's really important right now.
It is, and like you said, we are trying to do all we can to help the students, and whether or not they want to come in and sit down with us or do it via phone or Zoom. We use Zoom to meet with students too. So we are definitely trying to do our best to accommodate everyone. And I will say that we do have open registration dates that will be happening in January, so that they can come in between certain hours and meet with a counselor too.
Do you have those dates in front of you?
Yes, I do. We actually will have open registration starting January the 6th. January the 6th, 7th, and 8th is how we're going to do that. We're actually open till 7 o'clock on January the 6th on the Tupelo campus. Okay. All of our extended hours are on the Tupelo campus. So January the 6th is open till 7 o'clock here. And then January the 7th, we're open from 8 to 4:30 on the Fulton and Tupelo campus for registration. And then extended hours on Tupelo campus till 6 o'clock on that night. And then January the 8th, that Friday, 8 to 4:30.
Good, because there's some people that just don't like technology. They much rather have that face to face because you never know. I'm somebody that as soon as I send an email, I'll ask a question. I feel bad for a follow-up question because
Right.
I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot to ask this. So having that face to face still is encouraging and is welcomed.
It is, and we are socially distancing.
Yes.
For sure. We actually will have someone out in our lobby to greet them and then send them back to our offices where we all will be wearing masks, social distancing, and cleaning services before and after whenever students come in and out of the office. So we are definitely taking the proper COVID precautions.
Absolutely. All right, so we've got the email sent. We've heard back from our advisor. We've got our classes. Now what?
Now it's just come to class. Our traditional classes will start January the 11th, and that's the great thing about ICC. We are actually giving our students the options of doing Zoom only if that's what the student wants, or they will go face-to-face in the classroom. So that way you have a choice as a student, or online, or a night. So there are lots of options out there for students and meeting their needs.
And that's something that I have to commend the leadership at the college, because when COVID first hit, 8, 9, 10 months ago, it's crazy to think it's been that long.
I know.
They did that. They looked at all the options and they learned from what they learned from this year, added another option
Right.
as well with Zoom only classes. So speak of that as an employee of ICC, and I know you've dealt with a lot of things on you guys as well through registration that had to make a lot of unique adjustments on the fly. It speaks volumes for the college knowing that, hey, let's set ourselves aside here. Even if it takes us a 10-hour day to figure something out, we're going to do it.
I agree. I will have to say we have had excellent leadership and guidance and adjusted along the way. And we've I actually even made Zoom rules this time. We learned from this semester, and there are Zoom rules for students because they need to have that accountability of being online at a certain time, showing their face. And so that just helps everybody. But it has been a learning semester for everybody, but I think that as a whole, ICC has grown, and we are going to be even more effective in the spring.
All right, well, let's take the work hat off of you, put the mama hat on you now. You had a kid starting school for the first time as a freshman, correct?
Well, he's sophomore.
Sophomore,
and it was just as big as a challenge to him as it was for everybody, but we, adapted and were successful. So I'm proud of him, and I'm proud of a lot of these kids. Like I said, they had to adapt and change from what they were used to learning, their learning styles, and these kids have done that, learned lessons, and they're, moving forward for the spring.
Gotcha. What would you say your biggest lesson that you saw your son take away?
I think it was the accountability, because with the way classes are this semester, you seem to think you had so much more freedom than you really had, and so it was easy for him to get behind, and before he knew it, he was in over his head on some of the classes. And so, but let me say this, our faculty were amazing.
Yeah.
Because I, of course, as an employee here, I try to stay out of his business. It just is. That's the way he and I work, is to stay out of that business. But so he took his responsibility and contacted his instructors, and thankfully they allowed him to, make up some of his work he missed so that he could be successful in the end. But it definitely was, it was a learning experience for him, for sure.
And then I'll wrap up with this question. What have you learned the biggest thing through all this at ICC?
I think I've learned that each student is different and unique, and that unfortunately our freshmen just came into a situation that was different from them because they hadn't really had school in January, February, and March, and so that transition was a little bit more difficult for them too, and that we as faculty, staff, really had to be more attentive and be mindful of that and be sure that we reached out to them. And that's the other thing about it is any student just needs to ask for help. There are plenty of resources on campus. There's supplemental instruction, there's free tutoring, there's even our personal counselor, because if there's any mental health. So there are definitely resources, and just find a person and ask, and don't be scared to ask.
Well, Mandy, I appreciate your time today. And one final time, let everybody know how they can find out about registration, orientation, and those dates again.
Okay, the key is iccms.edu.
Yes.
Definitely go online to our website. And if you look under our admissions tab, If you'll just highlight admissions, it will have a drop-down menu, and that's where registration information is, that's where orientation information is, and there are some orientation sessions out there. That was an excellent point. I totally forgot about the orientation sessions, but that is a great way for new students that recently graduated, non-traditional students, to come in and actually be guided through the whole process one-on-one. And we finished up an orientation today, in fact, and those students came in. They got to meet one-on-one with one of the recruiters, stepped them through key information that they need to know to be successful, and then met with an advisor. So orientation is always fabulous.
Absolutely. Well, Mandy, again, thank you. And those dates for registration in January?
January 6th, 7th, and 8th. We start classes on January the 11th. Just because we started classes on the 11th on traditional doesn't mean it's too late to get registered. You can come in that week too, because online classes actually do not start till January the 19th.
Perfect.
So perfect time to come into school after you get through with Christmas vacation and Christmas and holidays, New Year's. It's a great way to start the new year off.
Absolutely. Once again, iccms.edu for more information. Mandy, anything else you'd like to add before we let you go?
No, I just hope to see you here and getting registered.
Registration for the spring semester is now open and classes are filling up fast at Itawamba Community College. Named the #1 community college in the state for the second straight year by Wallet Hub, ICC offers 5 different class options with locations in Fulton, Tupelo, and Belden that will help save you time and money while preparing you for the future. Email one of our friendly advisors at eadvisor@iccms.edu or call 862-8000 to sign up for classes today. Itawamba Community College. The best start here.